Over the last 40 years, there is a type of fishing boat that has quietly taken over and changed the entire fishing industry. I'm not talking about commercial fishing. No, I am talking about the small boats that regular men and women, like you, use to catch fish. Or at least try to catch fish. And I'm not talking about your grandfather's aluminum John boat, although we will talk about that boat too. Hello, boat lovers. I'm Wayne the Boat Guy. I'm the kind of guy who rides around in a 58-year-old Glastron speedboat, but it's powered by an 8-horsepower equivalent electric outboard motor. That's who I am, but we're all boaters, and you're all welcome here. Whether it's sailboats, speedboats, powerboats, fishing boats, John boats, skiffs, catamarans. Have I missed any? I'm not sure. Either way, you're all welcome here. Whether it's a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, an electric motor, sails, or rowing, all boaters are welcome here. Or maybe you're a person who would like to be a boater someday. Regardless, we should all appreciate and respect each other as boaters because it's all about being on the water. And in today's video, I want to talk about another way of getting out on the water, and that's fishing kayaks. But first, let's start with a short backstory. Up until the early part of the 20th century, if you wanted to go fishing in a small boat, it was likely made out of the useful and most awesome product on planet Earth, wood. The material of choice for almost everything that man or beavers have used to build all kinds of stuff for centuries. In 1910, if you were out in your rowboat in a quiet lake, courting Penelope with her parasol, or motoring to your fishing spot with your fancy new 1920 Evinrude gasoline motor, it was always going to be in a wooden boat, because small wooden rowboats and skiffs were the type of boat that everybody all around the world was using at that time. And then we had a couple of world wars, and the military forces needed something better than the highly flammable lacquer-soaked linen which was used for aircraft wings. And suddenly everyone was in the aluminum manufacturing business. Aluminum was lightweight, rust-proof, and it proved to be a very easy and reliable way to build and maintain the massive number of aircraft needed to ultimately end the war. When World War II ended, many people who had honed their skills in the production and manufacture of these riveted together aircraft set up businesses producing other types of aluminum products, including small boats made out of riveted aluminum. By the early 1950s, there were dozens of small companies producing aluminum boats, and the booming 1950s economy was a great market for them, as well as all of the small outboard engine companies who were all helping a new generation get out on the water. Aluminum John boats, utility boats, and canoes took over the small boat industry. They are rugged and durable, and corrosion isn't really an issue if you aren't in salt water. There are still a great number of aluminum boats out there, and some of them are at least 50 years old. Heck, I've owned a few of them myself. These aluminum boats essentially wiped out the old traditional small wooden boat industry because these aluminum boats were easier and cheaper to build, and they could last for decades with basically no maintenance, unlike a wooden boat. Of course, we actually have a newer rebirth of small wooden boats, like the one that I built. But that's for another video. By the 1970s, after 30 years of aluminum dominating the small boat market, some companies started working with plastics for small boats. This 1974 Sears catalog features an ABS plastic canoe that is slightly cheaper than a similar sized aluminum canoe. Around the same time, some companies started producing simple plastic kayaks for whitewater use. Plastic was superior to aluminum or wood in those environments where the hull is constantly hitting rocks. And that was the beginning of the plastic kayak revolution. Tim Niemier, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, is credited with making the first sit-on-top kayak. Niemier is quoted as saying, "I sort of introduced those. I didn't really invent it." Regardless, Tim founded a company called Ocean Kayaks in 1988, producing roto-molded plastic kayaks. Of course, just like every other modern success story, that company was acquired by a much larger conglomerate called Johnson Outdoors, which ironically is not connected to the Johnson brand of outboard motors, but was at one time part of the S.C. Johnson & Son Company, who are best known for products like floor wax. And of course, Johnson Outdoors also owns several other brands, and their kayaks now have the Old Town brand. Apparently the word kayak itself comes from the Native American Inuit word kajak, meaning man's boat. I like that definition, and if we modernized it, I think the Inuit people would be perfectly fine with the term personal boat, which is what a fishing kayak really is. But you might ask, how have fishing kayaks changed an entire industry? After all, it's the title of this video, and I'm so glad you asked. After the introduction of the sit-on-top kayak, it was quickly adopted by people seeking an alternative to the old aluminum john boat. You see, a sit-on-top kayak allows people to both have better leverage because of sitting higher, and also the option to stand up or jump on and off of the kayak, all of which make it much better suited for fishing than a canoe or a traditional sit-in style kayak. Also, the manufacturing techniques allow for a variety of options and sizes and features, and most importantly, different price points. You see, the basic aluminum john boat and V-hull utility boat have hardly changed since the 1960s. There's a couple of benches, which are there mostly to keep the boat from flexing, and many are now welded instead of riveted. But they are still basically the same boat your father or your grandfather bought. Please don't get me wrong, I do not hate aluminum boats at all. I know many of you probably love your aluminum boats, and there's no reason you shouldn't love them. They are an amazing platform for building onto and for making a completely custom fishing boat. I have friends who do a great job doing a lot of customization and building out fantastic fishing boats for people out of simple, basic aluminum john boats. But that is also the weakness of these basic aluminum boats. Here is a fishing kayak you can buy brand new for just a little over $1,000. It is 12 feet long and it weighs 85 pounds. It comes with 3 rod holders, a small dry storage compartment, a nice seat, rails to mount some accessories, and more. It's a really nice little boat. And here's the aluminum boat that you can buy for the same price. It's 10 feet long, which is 2 feet shorter than the kayak. It has 0 rod holders. The aluminum benches have no back support, and depending on the weather, they can be extremely cold or hot to sit on. There's no dry storage or any other accessory mounting points, and it weighs 30 pounds more too. So while an aluminum boat is a great starting point, the fishing kayak is ready to go. And the reality is that a fishing kayak is much more appealing to many shoppers these days over a basic aluminum boat, especially if they only intend to go out by themselves. Granted, the kayak I showed you is not one that can be easily powered by a motor, but there are plenty of other models and options to run an outboard or other propulsion system on these little boats. They make pedal drive systems, drop-in electric motors, transom-mounted outboards, and motors that can be steered with pedals, making it really easy to drive. The lighter weight and the narrower size of the fishing kayaks make them easier to handle, whether you're putting it in a truck bed or carrying it on the roof of your vehicle or on a small trailer behind your vehicle. And storage obviously is a lot easier as well, because a small fishing kayak can be stored indoors, unlike an aluminum boat. And as I mentioned before, the manufacturing techniques of kayaks allow for a lot of variation. And when you look at those options compared to the very limited options of small aluminum boats, it's like night and day. Brands like Hobie and Old Town each make about 20 different models of dedicated fishing kayaks. And some of them are inflatable, which have some advantages for certain buyers. Now, if you happen to be in the market for a fishing kayak, I am not the guy to talk to. But my good friend Alex Folguera has a YouTube channel with dozens of videos about almost every type of fishing kayak out there. So if you are in the market, go check out his channel. I'll put the links in the description and comments. And over the last 20 years, the fishing kayak segment has grown tremendously. And I think where it has taken market share from the most is the small aluminum boat segment. But because there are people out there who would still prefer a small boat over a kayak, and they prefer aluminum construction over plastic, I don't think the small aluminum boats are going away anytime soon. It's just that as more people gravitate to these fishing kayaks, the market for small aluminum boats will continue to shrink, meaning that there'll be very few changes in quality or product options. And I know for some of you, that will make you sad, because you may have great memories of time on the water in an old aluminum boat. And it was probably being pushed by a smoky old two-stroke outboard as well. But also, as I mentioned before, even if they stop making small aluminum boats, there are so many still out there, and they last for so long that you should be able to keep enjoying yours for years and years to come. I'm Wayne the Boat Guy. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there in the water and wear your PFD. I'll see you in the next video.